Are you a proud man, a frustrated man, or?
I think there's the overriding is frustration. I think to start that as we did was very frustrating. But we knew we have to play a little bit differently today because physically they pose a big problem for you if you try and play a certain game, and you've seen that in the Six Nations where sometimes when you're playing against physically bigger people you have to be smart, and we paid a little bit of a price for some of that, and after the first 15 minutes looking like it did, to get yourself in a position to get something out of the game. I'm not sure we can just sit here and justify after that start and say, look, we deserve to win, but we gave ourselves an opportunity. So that's frustrating, but this is part of the journey of this team. We've been good at home. It's not and I understand what you're asking me, and I do have a sense of pride for the effort, and we have a consistency in effort and tenacity, which is great, and that gets us to the door. But if we want to move to the team that can compete consistently in the right end of the table year on year, we have to understand what that takes from a skill set point of view, from a discipline point of view. We were very good discipline wise tonight, but in relation to, I don't mean discipline in relation to necessarily the penalty count, but the little bits of detail are really important, and the discipline and the decision making. The more we expose young players to making the right decision, that's part of the growth, and we just have to accept that. But if we understand that a little bit better tonight, then we've made a step closer to being the team we want to be.
Because to use your word, frustrating, you dominated possession, dominated territory, and just little error. It was just errors. I mean, you must have been like tearing your hair out.
Yeah, we were talking in the coaching box. That it was. At one point they had like 100% red zone entry conversion because they've scored 2 interceptions and 2 line breaks that we've made poor reads on. So from that point of view, that's going to make the game really challenging. We also probably spilled the ball 5 minutes from their line 3 times. So if we weren't, and you've heard me say this and you've heard coaches say this, if we weren't creating opportunity, I'd be really disappointed. And we make no secret about, if you want to be an attack-based team in the area of the pitch, the hardest bit is the last 5 metres. Where there is no backfield and they can basically commit to you, and physically it's going to be really tough. But that looking after the ball in key moments is massively important, because when you play against the best team, we played against the champions tonight, let's not dress it up, you have to take the moments, and because you don't get as many and you need to be clinical, and we weren't.
That summed up with that Alex Cuthbert thing.
How's your luck there?
Oh, yeah,
how's your luck?
Yeah.
And the thing that I feel for the lads, and they feel the pain, right? Because they understand the importance of it, and so that if you get blown away, you get blown away. But to get there, and then to then not get anything from that game, I thought we deserved something from that.
That would have got you 2 points, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That score.
Yeah. Which in a league that's very congested and tight,
As
could
tight
be
as it
massive.
is.
You need, like we saw at Edinburgh, you need to take things from the game.
How is Alex?
Hamstring is sore. He's like obviously with the nature of it, but more importantly with his just coming back. He's only been back a couple of weeks, and he's had a bless him. He's made a certain way, so you have to look after him, and he's had a fairly checkered, let's say that, injury career. So I'm just devastated for him, really.
Is there any early signs of how bad it is?
No, I mean, again, it's how he's reacting. Hamstring, soft tissue injuries.
I mean, it could be a pull, a tear. That's
it's anything from So they grade them from 1 to 4, in relation to severity, and until you scan it, you don't know.
Is that a team looking as though it wants to win the title again?
Well, again, that I've known Graham Rowntree a long time, and he was very complimentary on us, so we've earned some respect, if nothing else, today, and bits and pieces, which is great. And Wiggs a very respectful, good rugby man, so to get that compliment is nice. But they look like a team, that certainly have happy to let other people have the ball and impose themselves physically when they can. Whether that's enough to get them across the line again, because they probably shocked a few people and came up on the rail late before anyone saw them. But so people will pay them. That's the thing about being the champions, right? They pay you more respect. But they're certainly going to be there or thereabouts, aren't they?
I think, as Tom Shanklin said in his commentary bit, it helps when you got a 7'5" second row.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Mark Jones was talking about offloading, around Stamen, for example. I said, well, offloads are easy when your head's in the clouds.
Yeah,
it's quite 2 foot taller than anyone else. Yeah. Your two locks, I thought, put in a really good game, Ratty and
Reece, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's an area there we've been quite decimated from an injury point of view. So to get Hugh Sutton some minutes tonight, Adam Beard obviously will be back next week. So, I think from that point of view, we can start to train more competitively.
And you've got Morgan back as well, I think.
Yeah. So we've got we've got some people back, which is good, and that can only be a good thing, because we can bring the right levels of intensity and the right levels and areas of training, which have been missing for the last 3 or 4 months because of the injury and Six Nations and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll look for the glimmers of positivity from that performance for sure.
You gave young Wolves the night off, did you?
I did, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
He's had a lot of rugby.
He's had a lot of rugby. There was an original plan that changed a little bit, and the fact that we only had a Friday night game to give young players a great chance to prepare. Well, you need to give them time in the saddle. So the fact that he wasn't around before the 2 sessions. We all had Garen Phillips and a few others coming back in that position, so it was important that you give them a chance to succeed. Similarly, Owen Watkin was desperate to play and be involved, so we did. Whereas if you look at Gareth Thomas, Adam Beard, for example, George. I mean, obviously George was injured, but the plan was they were always going to be off this week because of the amount of rugby they've played, and we've got some big games coming up and Sale in last 16. So yeah, there's still a lot for us to play for.
Sorry, I missed it this week. Do you think George is going to play for you again, or is he out for the season?
No.
He's done, is he?
Yeah, no chance.
Well,
that's a 9-month injury.
Is it?
Nicky certainly put his shoulder to the wheel as ever tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, and again, as I said in the press release, Nicky Smith going is disappointing, and his reasons are his reasons. So I haven't got to go over old ground, but Nicky Smith will always be welcome back at the Ospreys in any shape or form, because irrespective, he obviously cares a hell of a lot about it, and he produces performances like that.
Is he going to be okay?
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
Was it a slight tickle in the ribs? Isn't it?
Yeah, slightly more than the time.
Yeah.